Something Else Podcast.
How's the reflection in the glasses? That's alright. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Something Else Podcast. It's a music one today, and I have a guest who's on screen. Introduce yourself, my friend.
My name's Phil, 44.
Well, Phil 44, that's very techno.
I know, it's the same bit like that, isn't it? From Halzoin, and I'm a metalhead.
Nice. Well, before we get into this episode, if you can hear music downstairs, or just generally music, which you will most likely hear, it's a band beneath us because we're in my band's lockup, and it's, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as, I said, Sepultura, Kaios AD, and there's a song on there called Kaios, or Kaios, or whatever you say, and it's just like do like an instrumental with a load of like drum and like bongo noise, and that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna butcher this, but I think the drum's called the dal. Is that like Indian drum? Ba-dump, ba-dump. It doesn't say dump.
What doesn't help is he's actually rattling your own drum kit as well. So
you know what? I didn't think of that. We've also got Bruce, who's behind camera. Bruce, give us a hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
Wow, that was proper redneck. Hell yeah, boy!
He does look like a redneck with that beard, that ginger beard.
Is
there between a redneck and a Viking?
I don't really want to mess with Damon's drum because it'll. Well, we will most
no,
likely
don't touch a man's drums. Don't touch a man's drums. You've seen Step Brothers. Don't touch a man's drums.
For God's sake, leave that zip like done up. But anyway, so yes, it's a music kind of podcast today. So I broke it down into sections so we can make it a wee bit easier. But what we'll do, we'll start with part one.
Start at the beginning.
Yeah, start at the beginning. So, as I said, it's music. So, what does music mean to you?
Music, what does it mean to me? To be honest, I spend as much as my waking day as I can listening to it. It makes me feel happy when I feel sad. Sometimes when I do feel sad, it can make me feel worse. But that's not very often. And, when you've got thrash metal in your life, it kind of keeps you on an even keel.
So are you one of those ones similar to me where you've got a song for pretty much any mood, any feeling,
pretty
any
much,
moment?
Yeah, pretty much. If I want to sort of get up, like, it's just like put a bit of Wild Arts on.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm angry, man, it's definitely thrash. I love thrash anyway, I always have done. Thrash metal, I love it. And it's always one of them ones, it's like, if I'm annoyed about anything, it's like, put it on in 20 minutes. I say to my mate, it stops me from killing someone.
Well, I mean, you've already answered my next question, which was, what's your favourite genre?
Oh, okay.
So, thrash. So, what's your favourite band or artist?
I do love thrash. I do love a lot of music, to be honest. There's not, rock, metal, thrash metal, punk, quite a lot. There's not that much in that kind of genre. I do like a bit of indie as well. Like a bit of everything, really. My favourite band, probably, I would say, the Wild Arts, and I'm representing today. Representing today.
He's not just rubbing his nipple.
And I've got a T-shirt on as well.
Wow, he's fully kitted.
Yeah, but when I'm at home, when I'm working, I've got me Wild Arts sweatpants as well that I wear. So some days I've even got my Wild Arts hat in my coat. So sometimes I'm kind of like double denim, but double Wild Arts.
Nice.
Sometimes treble Wild Arts.
So you're happily like. I've always had this thing about wearing brands. So, like, for the most part, I don't wear brands. I don't think, apart from how's the brand called? It's a tennis brand.
Slazenger.
That's the one. I was going to say something different. But that's, like, the only thing I've got that's branded on at the minute, apart from my watch. But are you one of them ones, like, if you get so committed to a band, like, Bruce knows I love me some Volbeat. And give me the chance. I will wear the singer's face if I had the chance.
Yeah.
I will let him wear mine.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, well, I've sort of gone through it all with Metallica and whatnot until I found the Wild Arts. The Wild Arts didn't sort of come out till sort of 93, 92, 93. So
there's the music again.
Yeah, before if you want to call it. But yeah, before that, it was kind of Metallica, and I was Metallica obsessed at the time. And I always used to say that Metallica could potentially roll a shit in glitter, and it would sell for like £70 a time.
Yeah. Not anymore.
They had that. Well, they had that. You know what? They're one of them bands that a lot of people do slag them off, and I still like them. But they're one of those bands that if they were to release a record tomorrow, everyone would run out and buy it, so they could just slag it off. They'd say it's rubbish, but at least as far as if I was Metallica, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I've had your money.
Well, that's the main
You
thing.
can say what you like, but I've had your money.
Well, so we know your favourite genre, your favourite band. Do you have a least favourite genre and a least favourite band?
My least favourite band, and my mum will kill me for this because she loves them, is Bon Jovi. I cannot, I despise the man. If I could remove anyone from existence, it would be that man.
So you're telling me you wouldn't want to hunt them dead or alive?
Nice one. No, I really despise that band. I'm not keen on Muse either.
You know what? Muse is a funny one because as much as I only like a couple of their songs, and we learned, was it Hysteria once, and that was terrible. But like is it Matt Bellamy?
Yeah.
I hate him because he has a great vocal range and he's amazing at guitar, but then it's like he does so much he becomes crap. Like he has all that weird pedal shit in his
like
guitar.
newborn, like woo,
Yeah,
up and down.
I don't know where the guitar starts or his voice ends. You know what I mean? It's bewildering to say the least. So I'm going to get back to something that I should have done in the intro. But my last question for this part is your music experience now. I mean, we spoke briefly before this, like with the college days and whatnot. But do you have any experience, instrument-wise, playing in a band? What's your gigging experience? What's like the most iconic gig you've been to?
In terms of musical instruments, I did try and learn the guitar. It was really hard, and I gave up straight away. I was kind of trying to self-teach myself. My mate let me this acoustic guitar. I took it home and I watched videos. I spent about 4 days trying to tune it.
Wow.
And this little tuning thing, and watching the YouTube going, how do I do it?
Yeah.
And then it was like, yeah, okay. And then it was like, oh, soddy. Let's just practice the chords. It was just like kind of, maybe if I'd had someone there like teaching me.
Do you remember the Chipper Club at all? It was like a competition thing in the paper.
No.
I'm going back to your mom might remember it, but my mom used to enter me in this Chipper Club thing, and you're in it till you're like 16, and every now and then you might win a prize. Now the only the only two I really remember that I know was from the Chipper Club thing was the little mascot for Meatballs, the boy. Well, I won a game for Meatballs, and it was like Tiger Electronics game, like an LCD screen. The weirdest thing, a boy just throwing balls at things, But then the other thing my mum won me, which the last thing she ever won me at the age of 15, I think it was guitar lessons.
Oh, okay.
So I had I think in total about 10 lessons because they got very expensive. And then I just self-taught myself. And it's a funny instrument. I mean, you can vouch for that as well, Bruce, where it's like some things you'll pick up easy, but then you can get into bad habits. Like the famous power chord. Like as soon as you get that, you can't get out of it, and it takes a while. But it's a funny one.
Someone once taught me how to play the start of Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. Like the intro, when you see you've got the sort of two end strings and you just sort of pull them together.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like, ding, 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 ding. It's like up and down, you know what I mean? It's not hard to learn.
So he's already got alternative picking down?
For me, that was amazing. Like, it was just like, oh, wow, I could do this. Like, and it's like, what comes next? I'm not to know.
Well,
you know what I mean?
If you had the chance, would you join a band? Would you like to be in a band?
My dream was to be Axl Rose when I was younger.
Not
so much now, yeah. But like when I was younger, I wanted to be Axl Rose. I got the hair, the goatee beard.
Oh, I remember them days with hair.
Yeah, I used to have long hair many years ago. But yeah, I wanted to be Axl Rose. Auditioned for a couple of bands, but didn't get very far when they realised I couldn't sing. So that was the end of that, really. Yeah. So it was more like, if I'm going to do anything, I'll probably be a group, a groupie or a roadie, not a groupie,
Bruce,
a roadie.
We've got a groupie here. So, we've got a roadie here.
let me start off. Lemmy was a roadie for
Jimi
Hendrix, yeah. So, it'd probably be the drinking party and that I would like.
See, like, things to know about when you gig with me is I'm accident prone.
Okay.
So my first gig we did, I shut my hand in a fire door. The second gig we did, I put my hand through an AC machine, an air unit. Then I had an operation and split that because I had stitches in my back and I ripped that open. Yeah, other than that, we do party.
Yeah, so that's what you want, really. That's what you want. Band management.
Oh, yeah.
Band management. Then you just get all the best of both worlds.
I think that's the thing with like the way music is now, especially live music, is we've excuse me, we've had me and Bruce have had gigs where it's very straight edge. You know what I mean? It's very. Is it straight edge? Is that what you call a clean person?
Yeah, straight edge.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called then.
They used to have like a cross on the hand. That's how it started.
Yeah.
They used to have a cross on the hand to say they were underage.
CM Punk.
They're going to gig, but they're underage, so they had the cross on the hand.
Yeah.
And that's what started the straight edge.
Oh, I just learned something new there.
There you go. It was no drink, no drugs, no alcohol.
Yeah.
No
Well, it's
sex.
like what I find now. Apart
What's the
from
point of living?
Well, yeah. What I find now is a lot of bands we play with. It's very. I don't want to say poserish, but it's very like we're a rock band. But like as soon as you bring like a tinny, they kind of freak out. Unless that one gig we did and they nicked them. But you know that's a different story.
My friend of mine was friend of mine. His friend was in a band, and they supported. I think it was Spine Shank, and he met the singer in the corridor, and he was really pleased. He's like, "Oh, you know, I'm in the support band," and he went to shake his hand, and he just sort of went, "Can't risk it," and walked off.
Yeah.
And I have heard rumours about that guy from Bring Me the Horizon, where it's like if you ever see him, if you're in a venue he's supporting or whatever, your management or what, you see him, never stop him walking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've heard that a couple of
it's
times.
like here at Rabana's in Birmingham. We've seen and I've met a couple of times Blaze Bailey.
Yeah.
I think I was saying this before when I first saw Black Sabbath live, because I'm always watching them on TV and generally they look like giants, don't they? Because it's a close up, it's an awesome shot. But when I saw him live, I'm like, oh wow, he's just a small man. Like
Yeah.
I've met Tony Iommi and he was amazing. Like
he's a small man, isn't he?
No, he's fucking huge.
The
The guitarist, like Ozzy's quite small, but he's hunched over from his years of definitely not drinking and drugging. But Tony Iommi, he's very upright. I'm taller than him, but like he still has hair, so that adds. But it's like when you see him live on stage, you're kind of like they're just humans.
Yeah.
And I think it's brilliant, but to have that kind of arrogance, as if to say, I'm high and mighty, I'm like, oh, fuck you. And that's like here, like Barney Greenway, he's just sitting down in like the reception and you're like, he drinks tea.
Yeah, he's teetotal, Barney. He doesn't drink.
Yeah. And I think, especially when you hear something like a grindcore and you expect, shit flinging, alcoholic, drug taking powerhouses, and he's awesome. Like, he doesn't do anything. He's very political, and I think that's where music gets wrong messages, I guess. But we'll get onto that in a bit.
Okay.
What I was going to ask is, tell the listeners, the viewers, Bruce, tell them why we're doing this podcast. What is it? I was about to say that you give me. That sounds terrible. How do I word this? All right, tell us about...
I've got a B, you can have that.
Tell us about Room for More Records.
Room for More Records. Well, when we were in lockdown, and it was kind of grim and depressing, I'll take you back to about, it was probably about 25 maybe-ish, maybe a bit younger than that. I nearly opened a record store, but it was around the time Napster and all that. And yeah, and all like record shops. We had a really cool record shop in Halzo in Magpie.
Okay.
And I used to get a lot of my stuff from there. I love the place. I'd be there waiting, when Slayer released. I remember when Slayer released Divine Intervention, that was like 94. I'm there like outside 5 to 9, waiting for the shop to open. Like, give me, where's the money? Give me Divine Intervention. I need it right now, this second, even though I'm on my way to college. I need it right now so I can thumb through the artwork and whatever. But I had a CD player in them days, not vinyl. So
holding it very delicately.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it didn't jump.
very delicately. Like, usually 9 times out of 10 with CDs, you'd open the case and you go, oh, look at that artwork, that's cool. And then sometimes you have a picture beneath the CD. There was a thing with Slayer, Divine Intervention. Slayer are my favourite bands of all time. So there's this thing with, like, around the time that Divine Intervention came out, this guy had Slayer like carved into his arms with a knife, and it was all like blood running down, and it was all like for the imagery on the album. But 9 times out of 10, you'd open you take it up and you take your CD out to look at the picture underneath, and all the little teeth that the CD used to stick to would just break off instantly.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, and so when you'd be at home, you'd open it and you'd open it, your CD would just fall on the floor because it had broken. But anyway, so Magpie was there for years, and then all of a sudden it was like, sorry Phil, we're shutting down. We can't carry on. And it was like, I can't let this die.
Yeah.
This is like an institution, and started looking into it, and going to the bank, and I'm only kid. I'm writing business plans, and I really wanted to do it, but when I started looking at the figures and everything else, it's like this is shut down for a reason. Like people are not buying music anymore; they're streaming it, they're stealing it.
Yep.
So that idea kind of fell. HMV obviously survived.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, I mean HMV. God bless them. I found them very expensive.
Yeah,
and they're very expensive back in the day. I mean, in Birmingham, we had an amazing store called Tempest.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and
it used to be is it Cyber Candy or something?
Cyber Candy,
that?
yeah.
I brought so many vinyl from there.
Yeah, that's
Fucking
what I mean.
Out.
So
go downstairs. The
downstairs,
best room ever.
yeah. So you go in.
Out. I was just thinking about that
one. you go in, and there was a bit of rock and a bit of stuff. Upstairs was like techno and house. I never went there. And then you sort of go. I think it was really apt, being a metal fan. And you sort of go in there and you go down these stairs, and it was like dark and dingy, yeah. But like years ago, if you wanted to buy like Slayer or like the early Sepultura, like with the Sepultura released an album called Morbid Visions, and it was really hard to get, and and Arise and stuff like that. They wouldn't sell it in HMV, but you could go to Tempest and they would have it. Yeah. And there's a guy there who used to work there called Rich, and he now runs Ignite, and he's got a store in the help me out. The Oasis Market. Oh. He's got a store in Oasis Market. He just sells vinyl now.
Yeah.
But he's doing well. He's a good guy.
I suppose with vinyl, in the broad sense, or even just a music shop, if you've got that community, that fan base, you'll be thriving.
Yeah.
Especially in somewhere like Oasis Market. I was speaking to my wife the other day, and we weren't even sure if Oasis Market was still open.
Yeah, it's still open.
We've been out of Brum, almost 4 years now. So whenever I go to Brum Centre, I'm like it's alien to me. Everything I used to know is gone. Have they put the floozy back at all? Or is she still out? They took her out to clean her, and loads of rats just appeared, which is scary.
I don't. I'm the same as you. I don't go to town. I've not really worked in town now since February 2020. I've been to town like a handful of times, literally a handful of times. And
I think the last time I went was when I was supposed to meet you, when I went out with my cousins and I went home. That's the last time I went.
Yeah. So I did go to buy. We had some friends come up from Manchester. Hi to Manchester guys. We had some friends come down from Manchester, and we took them there and went to. My friend works for HMV. So sorry for slagging them off earlier. Yeah. And he wanted to go and see the Vault, because we've got that big HMV, haven't we?
Yeah.
He wanted to go and see the Vault, so we took him to the Vault. But yeah, they're expensive. But yeah, before you couldn't get like extreme music in mainstream stores. And Birmingham used to have loads of stores. There was Tempest. There was.
Well, Birmingham's iconic for having, I don't want to say underground, but the rock scene, isn't
it?
The
it was.
Scene.
The scene was, back in the day, was good.
I mean, as the museum kind of showpiece was, it was the home of metal.
Yeah, we had that.
I have a great story about that.
Yeah, we had that little like museum thing. I mean, it was like Napalm Death was in there. You go in there playing like You Suffer on repeat. Which was like Suffering. But I love You Suffer. He's like shortest song in the. I argued with some friends who don't really understand metal and whatever, and they were like, "It's not the shortest song. It's not a song. It's not a song." I was like, we had a big row about what was actually a song and all that kind of thing, but. It was like Tempest was the place to go and get your records. There was a few others. Reddington, that's gone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Reddington Rare Records.
Isn't he? I mean, I'm going back a couple of years, because I remember I used to go in. I had, ages ago, Highway to Hell by AC/DC. But on side A, I had it on vinyl. On side A, it was Highway to Hell with the side A tracks. Yeah. On side B, I had High Voltage with High Voltage tracks.
Oh, cool.
Which, to have a misprint is rare. But to have it with a different album, it was like, wow. And I took
that's in Reddington, was it?
Yeah, I took it to him. I went to take it to him, but he's like, I don't actually have a physical store anymore. It's like, it's all online. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I think they moved to Digbeth for a while. Yeah. And then I think I saw it in the paper that he was literally just getting rid of everything.
Yeah. But, I mean, you just said earlier, obviously, you was... I mean, the shops you've just mentioned, like, they all close eventually, apart from HMV. But what made you... now pursue Room for More records?
Yeah, so I went off a tangent there.
That's fine.
I do that. Just bring me back. back. So in the 90s, when I was going to take over Magpie, I decided against it. I looked at the figures, looked at what the albums, the sales were going down. Vinyl wasn't that popular. I used to buy like cassettes back then. I had like about 300 cassettes at home. So I looked at it and I was like, it's not a vibe, it's not a goer. And I had to abandon the idea, which was a bit heartbreaking because it was what I really wanted to do. And I got my little art set on it and whatever. And then I stopped buying records myself. I used to have buy records back in the day.
Bruce got me into wanting to have records again.
Yeah.
And it's just obviously down to talking about yourself.
Yeah, it was my friend Simon who lives in Manchester, and he's into his vinyl, and he was always talking about it. Years ago, we had a record player. I was talking to you earlier, like Sundays in our house, we used to, have like music on Elvis and the Stones, and we used to have the Police on, and all that kind of stuff. My mum was into Meatloaf, really into Meatloaf.
I think every mum's into Meatloaf at some point.
Back Av Hair and all that. We used to have all that on a Sunday afternoon. We'd play it all and on vinyl, and the Needle went. And so back in the day when you used to buy like needles, and we went to the shop to get a new one. The Needle's gone, and it was like, oh, don't bother with those records anymore. CDs are the future. So we
have this new compact.
Yeah,
disc.
so we ended up coming out of there with a CD player, and essentially I sold all of my records.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't into rock back then, so I was into bands like Michael Jackson and Erasure, and I had like loads of the. Excuse me. I had loads and loads of now. The Complete. I used to have loads of them, but I ended up just getting rid of all of them. And moving on to CDs. So like talking to my friend Simon and about his vinyl collection and that, and I was like, well, I don't know. He's got loads of like really good rock and metal and all sorts. And I didn't have any of that because I wasn't into rock and metal when I had my record player. So it's like, I wouldn't mind getting one. We're in lockdown, and I said to the wife, I want to get a record player. She was like, oh, yeah, brilliant, we're going to keep that sort of thing. Like, she doesn't share my passion for thrash metal and whatnot. She does like the Wild Arts. I took her to the Wild Arts. She kind of enjoyed that, but there's a band supported. They were like heavy metal Bee Gees, and she enjoyed them a lot more. So it was like, I'm not taking her again. So she's never been since. But so I bought this record player. Bought this.
Which one did you get?
I bought an Audio Technica. And spent hours researching and days researching and bought this Audio Technica.
Well, not like me then. I literally went to a B&M, paid 25 quid for this like briefcase one.
I've seen that.
Bush as well. So it's a brand I know. Took it home and broke it.
Yeah.
Like it literally blew up. I was like, I'll take it back.
Get my money
and then
back.
I got my money back and got a free one. That one so far is all right, but I don't know about your guys' records, but my one, it's got like the rubber band on it.
Yeah. A lot of them do. Yeah, it's like a turn.
Yeah, on the turns.
It's like a drive.
It's
isn't
an
it?
absolute.
You just hook it round.
I had to stretch it because it was far too tight. So I had like you'd have something like Raining Blood where it's like diddly diddly diddly. Mine's more like really bloody slow. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you ain't got it right. You can like, you ain't got it right. You'd be like,
honestly, but
a bit too fast, like it's fast but not that fast.
Yeah.
So I got myself an Audio Technica and a speaker, and I went to sort of Curry's, and he's like, "What are you going to buy?" I was like, "I'm going to buy this Audio Technica. I'm going to buy this Bose speaker. The Bose speaker's probably about that big, something like that." And he's like, "You're going to get very far with that, mate." And I'm like, "Well," he's like, "You need an amp." And I'm like, "How much are the amps?" He was like, "They're over there, about start from 300 quid." I went, "I'll have the Bose."
Yeah.
Like, no, mate, you ain't got to pay that because. Your records, your sound's down here, you got to bring it up here, and I'm like, I'll just take a chance.
Yeah.
Took it home, it was sound, to be honest. He's sound.
So you did that, it was sound.
I would like an amp. So, me and Bruce just lost it the week. We really want an amp. So, get the old sort of speaker situation thing going again, and the wife's going to love it. But, so obviously, I've got this record player and no records. And years ago, there's a it's gone now. There's a Exposure Rock Cafe in Birmingham at the end of Broad Street. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was in there the one night. Excuse me, he was in there one night, and he's like, "Got a competition to win some vinyl," and he was like, first one to get to the bar, and it was like a really stupid question, and I got there first, and I won 3 Guns N' Roses records.
Oh, nice.
Appetite for Destruction, and Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. So my plan was to sell them. So I don't know if you ever tried to sell anything, but I was trying to, like, vinyl's popular now, but, I went to a car boot sale with these vinyls, like, and I was like, people were going, "Oh, how much for the vinyl? I might give you a quid." And I'm like, "No." Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'll give you 3 for the 5, and not give me, you're not having them. Yeah. But in the boot of the car, I'm like, no one's having them. They don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate Guns N' Roses. They're not having them. But went up the loft. So anyway, so I bought this record player. I go around the houses again. So I bought this record player. Like, nothing to play on. So I was like, I've got these Guns N' Roses records. Up the loft I went, found them. They were under a load of stuff. Luckily, they weren't warped and they started playing them. So looked in the paper, got online. It's like record fair in Stourbridge. I was like, at the Mitre Hotel. So I'm like, I'm going there. So I got myself down there. Bought myself Motorhead. 15. I can't remember what the album's called now. It's one of the obscure ones. Really good album. Bought that and some Twisted Sister. Took it off home and I'm playing it, and then it's like, let's get myself on eBay. And then before you know it, records are arriving thick and fast, like, Anthrax, Slayer. What you ordered now? Nothing. I bought that ages ago, and, it just took a while to come. That one's, and then I was ordering them from Latvia and all sorts, So, but some of the records, like, some of the old records that are, I think, well, I'd like that because they're albums that I love. I'm on eBay, and it's like, there's one on there at the moment. I'm really into a band called Corrosion of Conformity. They've re-released some of their stuff more recently, but there's an album they've got called Deliverance, released I think it's about 94.
Yeah.
What happened with vinyl is a lot of it wasn't as popular. They didn't release as much, so they do like runs. So they do a run of records. When they've gone, they've gone. It's not like now. So it became more of a collector's thing. And a lot of people, I got alerts for that record. So if it ever gets listed on eBay, I'll get an alert. It's like Corrosion of Conformity, Deliverance has been listed. It's been on there 3 days. It's already at 30 quid. I'm like, what's wrong with people? Stop driving the price up. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm sort of looking at it, and I'm buying these records, and I'm bidding on these records, and I want a few and whatever. And I'm like, them was after the same records. Why am I doing this when I could be selling records? If records are so popular, let's bring back my dreams. So I sort of sat down and started making plans and writing stuff, like, contacting labels and like saying I want to buy your records, and people would ignore me. And I emailed a couple of sellers online, because some of the sellers were selling these like Pantera records. And obviously I loved Pantera back in the day, and I thought, I love Pantera back in the day. I've got them all now. But sort of emailing some of the sellers on eBay going, where are you getting this from? No reply, sort of thing, because they've got like new records, like they
don't want to give their secrets
away. they're all like limited and coloured, and I'm like, where'd you get where So I started getting replies back saying, you need to set up a business, and I'm like, oh, okay. So like looking into that, I'm like, can I do an eBay shop? That'd be okay. So the first company who proper like showed an interest was a company called Plastic Head, and they deal more with sort of hardcore and punk and like black metal, death metal, that kind of thing. So they were like, that's fine. You set yourself up a little shop. Set myself a little eBay shop. I did. Brainstorming, talk to my friends, my bestie, one of my besties, Wayne. It's like, on our chat on WhatsApp, like, I want to open a record business. Really? Yeah. What should I call my shop? And my surname's Room. So looking at different things, and Wayne was like, I think it might have been his missus, so it was him. One of them will take the credit, but he said, what about Room for more records? And I'm like, I like it. And my friend Tom was like, what's all this? Like, I'm going to set up a record store. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. So I've got this like eBay shop, and I've contacted him. I was like, I've got my eBay shop now. Can we see? Yeah. So I sent him a link to it. Yeah, that's fine. Fill in these forms. And
nice.
Robert Shafava's brother. And then all of a sudden I'm getting these.
That's awesome.
Yeah, getting these these accounts. And then I've got one with another company, and then Warner, and then Sony, and so but sure, I'm getting all these accounts, like, so I've got my little eBay shop, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard. It's really hard.
Well, I was gonna say, one of the questions is, what's the ups and downs of having like the record business?
The ups is when you sell one, you're buzzing, buzzing, like, you're like, someone's bought a record off me, and I'm all like, oh, thanks for your purchase. Acting all professional, like, thanks for your purchase. And, obviously you want the customers, you want people to come back, don't you?
I was going to say, it's potentially a lifelong customer, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
that's
they
it.
Might come back. I mean,
going to come back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. So like, keep Bruce busy. Like, oh, Bruce, this is what's coming out. Like, and my friends, I'm a little bit more selective now. Like, I ask, I know what people like, and I'll say, oh, this album's coming out. Are you interested? If they're interested, I'll get it. But I'm not sort of, I did buy quite a lot of records at the start, and I've still got quite a lot left. So I'll say that definitely you downed. It's like, I was getting stuff that was new, like I've got like a Dropkick Murphys. I'm a big fan of Dropkick Murphys, and they got a new album out. I mean, Dropkick Murphys are a multi-selling worldwide band. They can sell out. They can sell out the NEC. Yeah. Me and Wayne, we went to see them at, down in London, down at the oh God, what's it called? Where they have the darts, the Alexander Palace.
Yeah,
they've sold the Alexander Palace out, them and Coxbarrow, and it was rammed. And they sell out all over the world. And I thought, right, new Dropkick Murphys, one for myself, one for the one to sell. I've still got it. So I think it's trying to break people's their cycle. Like a lot of people I think go to Amazon. Amazon's their first port of call.
I think with stuff like, for me anyway, like I used to go to Tempest all the time, and then it was trying to find somewhere. Like my thing was always eBay. It was my dad that got me into vinyl, and all it was he brought this. It looked like a classic vintage record player. It was, instead of Bakelite, it was just plastic, and
mine's plastic. Yeah, they are plastic.
It was like it had a CD in it, but you could record straight to USB, which made my day. And excuse me, he's got this sound system. I've got it now. What the fuck's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but it's loud. It's just for a computer, so it's nothing special. And it's the loudest bloody speaker system I've ever heard. And he hooked up to it, and it was just a great hits of Queen. And I was like, but vinyl's old. I was like, why would I want to listen to vinyl? He's like, no, listen to it. And then he's like, have you got a CD? Like, let's find that album. So, Highway to Hell. And I brought it twice, the vinyl I did. So, one was the misprint, the other one was a proper one. But I had Highway to Hell, and it was digitally remastered, and it was on MP3. And I had it on CD. So we brought Highway to Hell on vinyl. And he was like, listen to yours, now listen to this. So, sure enough, I'm listening to it, I'm like, headbanging to like Walk All Over You, because that's my favourite track off that whole album.
Song. Yeah.
And then he played it on vinyl, and I was just like, it's one of them ones where you can close your eyes and it's like you're in that room with them, because they recorded in a live atmosphere. And it really, really isolated just how much, but it really showed me how much, like, not CD, but the digital format cleans a song. Cleans a sound.
A little bit too much sometimes.
You can hear Angus Young's fingers go into the next one like that. You know what I'm on about, that squeak you get on the strings. And it was like, you can hear the snare rattling, like just like when that band Beneath Us was playing, our snare was going. But on the remastered or just general digital format, it's all clean.
It's too clean.
And that's what really changed my mind on vinyl. And then I actively started to seek it. Like, the first vinyl I ever brought myself before AC/DC was Ailstorm's Wolves of the Sea. And it was a limited run out of like 500. And the one side of it, I think it's side B, it's got like a crest on it. Then the other side's got a skeleton of like Captain Morgan with like swords and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, for a start, I'm like, the artwork is fantastic and it's a shit ton bigger. Whereas my CD is this big and I can't see anything. So that really changed my mind on vinyl. And it was like, you were saying, obviously, first protocol now is to go onto Amazon, or generally now it's Spotify, isn't it?
Spotify,
and
yeah.
I've said to Bruce, like, I'm so tempted half the time to cancel it because, like, the bands don't get nothing really from it.
They get a bit, yeah,
but not as much as they would from a physical sale.
There is that argument. There is that argument, but my kind of feeling on it is, like, for example, the Wild Arts. I talk about them a lot. I love them too. My favourite band. I love them. I've bought everything that they've done. Excuse me. I bought pretty much everything that they've done. I've got it. Now, if I'm going out like tonight to come here, I've got the train and walk to the station.
You'll have a listen on the old.
I can't carry the record player with me. Can't my amp. You want me speaker.
Yeah.
My speaker, my record player. So I need something to listen to it on. I haven't got a Discman anymore.
No,
I've got the CDs in the loft. I've got a lovely PHUQ. Purple, velvet cover, and I looked up the loft.
But that's the thing though with vinyl. Like, pardon me, my dad always said that it will make a comeback because, like, this is what freaked me out. Like earlier, I'm born in the late 1900s. That occurred to me the other day, and I was like, like you was born in the late 1980s. That doesn't sound as bad as 1900s.
I was born in the 70s, man.
My God. But you know what I mean, though? It's like,
Well, you know, we had
Trends
you
come
know,
back
there was
around.
like 8 tracks and you
Yeah.
know and all that kind of stuff. And
I mean, now it's
vinyl and you know
now it's
cassette.
a lot of hipsters not fitting in.
No, let's face it. There's not a worse format in this planet than cassette.
So I do
Cassette is the worst format ever.
Yeah.
And I know that's making a comeback because I get like
even if
you know
fucking-
like Adele. Sorry, Adele.
Yeah.
You know, her new album's coming out, and I get emails daily about Adele. It was like, do not order Adele before this time on this
Yeah.
date, or you will not be allowed to have it.
The
You know,
thing
it's
is,
kind of like you will not have
hasn't
Adele.
she just,
If you
like-
try to order Adele, you will not have Adele. And it's like she just moans anyway.
She's
Like
literally just like wiped out the whole vinyl industry for a few months now, isn't she?
That's
With
what I mean.
500,000 copies. I'm like, bitch.
yeah, that's it. You know,
The fuck?
you know. I was working. I got.
I want my new Volbeat.
Yeah, exactly. I got Hello Eights the other day.
Yeah.
I bought Hello Eights. I had some money for my birthday from my sister-in-law. So thanks, Jen. And she gave me some money, and I bought Hello Eights from I Saw Merch, wasn't it? I Saw Merch. It's like a black and orange splatter, black and red splatter. Excuse me, that I bought. And that took a while to come. And I was messaging I Saw going, "Where's my record?" Like sort of thing. And he's like, "Yeah, there's been a bit of a delay." And I thought, well, I'm not even going to argue because I know what you mean. You know, literally, I order stuff. You know, and the next day after the cut-off date, it's like it's been pushed back to December. You're like, December already? Like Exodus new album's been pushed back to December already. Obviously, it's going to come out. It's still going to come out on the day it was due to come out, but
Yeah.
you're not going to have that possession. But a lot of the vinyl now, I think, due to Brexit and other reasons,
Yeah.
is mainly produced in France and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just you know, there's not many pressing plants here,
No.
and I don't know why. Maybe that's something else I can go into. But
Well, the thing is, I was saying this again with my dad. Like we always we always did correct the world, and we was always saying like things that we were well known for, you know, music. Why the hell, like Marshall, for instance, Milton Keynes, like they could employ a shit ton of people off the streets to do this, a printing press and all that. But
yeah, I might say like Warner shipped from France. They're all
Yeah.
sort of produced in France, and then they get shipped over, and they get it in 3 days. They're brilliant. Like you know, once it says it's on
Yeah.
the way, 3 days it's on your doorstep. Like you know, you can't fault the service.
well, no,
You know, it's good. I do enjoy it. Like I would like to become more popular, and then for people to watch this podcast and go, you know what, room for more records. You
But
know,
the
I'm
thing
on
is,
Facebook and Instagram.
I've
and
we'll do
eBay, yeah.
we'll do some shout outs.
Yeah,
and,
you know,
plugs in a
so
bit.
you know, come to me. Don't go to Amazon. You know that guy's going into space. You don't need your money. You don't need your money. I need your money.
But the thing, I
and
think-
I'm cheaper than them anyway. I'm cheaper than HMV.
I can go from personal experience. Like I would never have known really about yourself unless it was for Bruce.
Yeah.
And that's classic word of mouth. And it was like, I mean, you sent me some ideas like, oh, this is just coming up, that's coming. And I'm like, I'd never even heard of Halloween until Bruce showed him, and then he was like, oh, I've got the new album. Like, I want it.
It was classic.
Didn't even think about it, and I was like, I heard Out for the Glory. I was like, yeah, I need it.
And you got your glow in the dark Volbeat in you as
dude,
well.
yeah, I honestly, like this is my moment now. I know it's our podcast, but glow in the dark vinyl is the best thing I've ever seen. Like, I mean, it's really difficult to try and take a picture of something in the dark.
And you did it, didn't you? You sent it me.
And I was just like, that
yes.
looks mint. But I mean, I'll move on to this question because in a minute I'm going to have to go for a wee.
Okay.
I am struggling at the minute. But I did have my third jab booster thing, so I don't know if that's kicking in.
Yeah,
But
it's the jab. It's the jab.
not for the wee.
It's not his age.
No, it's not
the
my
jab.
age. I definitely blame the jab. But get vaccinated. But in your own
I've been
in your own kind of collection, do you have like what's your most valuable vinyl? And I mean, you can do via cost or something that's like this is like the don of all my records. Like, what would you class as the holy grail in your collection?
My holy grail, I think, is my Corrosion of Conformity. But it's an album called Blind, and a bit like Deliverance. Really, it came out in the 90s. You know, small run, didn't do any more. And it came up on eBay, and I bought from this guy a couple of times, and so he was like a save seller. So when he lists something, it will come up, and he come up, and I was in his ear, and I was like, but he's a swine. Sorry, David, but he's a swine, like you know, and he puts stuff on for what he wants for it as the starting price. So he puts a big starting price on it. I said to him, well, you take your vinyl so expensive, man. He went, I know what it's worth. That's what I want.
That's what you want.
So I was in his ear like, mate, I really want this. I really want this. And he's like, "We'll put a bid in and see what happens." And I'm like, "Can you not take?" Because sometimes people do email you and say, "Will you take it off sale?" And to be honest, I had some stuff. All my stuff is buy it now.
Yeah.
So it's like buy it now. It's one price. Because eBay, God love them, the fees are a disgrace.
But especially now since they don't do PayPal. Like I sold a camera, and I can't remember what I sold it for. It's like £700, but I only made 600 off of it after they took their fees. And I was like,
it's they do take a lot.
You're like, I just lost £100.
I think it's like 12.8%.
Yeah,
plus,
honestly, it's
plus,
robbery.
well, basically, what used to happen is someone would buy something from eBay. It would go into PayPal. PayPal would take a cut, and then you transfer it from your PayPal to your bank. Now they don't. They cut the ties with PayPal because they separated. And then I thought, buzzing, I'll save a couple of quid. It's not a couple of quid, but it's a couple of quid. And then what happened was eBay basically took the fee that PayPal used to take. So better off.
Yeah.
So I have to have stuff for like buy it now. It's a set price.
That's what I do. Sometimes I do like offers, but
yeah, it includes postage. Obviously, I've got to pay for the postage. I've got to pay for the box, the bubble wrap, the stuff that because I look after it because I want it to get there in one piece. So I'll take it, I'll wrap it in bubble wrap, and
best thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, put it in a proper box. I've got to have something to say about packing. It still upsets me to this day. I'll tell you about that after you've had your week. But it's like it's got to be a certain price. But I like to try and remain competitive. Anyway, so I was in this geezer's ear, like, come on, man, let me have this. I love this. One of my favourite bands. I love this album. It's fantastic. I need to have it. Please let me have it. And he's like, no, I'm gonna let it run, Phil. I'm gonna let it run. And I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever. And I think he'd set it for like £35 or something like that. Plus postage.
Yeah.
And anyway, I do like a flutter on a weekend on the coupons, on the bookies and whatever. And I'm not a very good bettor, to be honest. I talk a good game, but when I put my bets on, I'm like, And as it was on that day, I won £25, and it was ending on that day. So I literally put £5 over the asking price, and on eBay, if you set a reserve. If you put over that reserve, that's what you're going to pay up to. So someone else bids it, it'll push you up to that price. Not everyone knows that. It'll push you up to that 35. And so I bid like 35, and no one else put a bid in. I was buzzing. But you look now, and it's like he looks after his vinyl. To be fair, so it's like in the wrapping, in the box, in plastic, and like it's about that thick. Like the older vinyl is paper. So thin, the older vinyl, but the newer vinyl's kind of more like that, thicker. And
I've got the AC/DC's Black Ice album, and that is a fucking beast. Like, you could frisbee that and kill people.
Yeah, that Halloween, I would assume it's quite thick as well.
Massive.
Yeah.
Well, I've got because I was on about like your Holy Grail sort of thing. I've got one, and it's like I'm a Hendrix fan, but I've got the Voodoo Child, the Electric Ladyland album, but it's the one with the nude cover. So it's just full of like 60s women, not 60-year-old women, but
60s women
from the
like
60s.
Peace and weed and all that.
Yeah, it's just full of
long brown hair and hanging over your boobs.
Oh yeah, honestly, it's Bush, but it's all right, man. So that's your favourite. So I'll end it on, what would you say is like, not, I don't want to use the term rarest, but what would you say is like the Holy Grail of records? What would you say if you could get any record? Like, what would it be? Like, what is the must-have? Whether it's down to artwork, misprints, the songs themselves, what would you say is, if you could have it, you'd be like minted? Because I've got one that I really want, and it's the Highway Tale album again, but it's the one with the Australian cover.
Oh, okay.
So it's got the band, and then it's got flames in front of him, and it's got a bass guitar neck going, kind of leading into him, kind of like how Guitar Hero used to be.
Yeah.
And it's got Highway Tale written on the front.
Guitar Hero, yeah.
So and that's like ridiculously expensive. It was like 200 made.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. I think I might have said that I love the Wild Arts, and they did an album. They did an album called PHUQ, which is pronounced fuck. But it's PHUQ, but you're supposed to pronounce it fuck. And that is really that again. That was like in 90s, early 90s. There's only so many printed. And it's really hard to get, and it comes on eBay for like £150 starting. I'd love that, but they're supposed to be remastering it at the moment. They've been remastering it for a while. Yeah, they're supposed to be remastering it. It's supposed to be coming out, and I can't wait for that day. Probably that, or while you go for me, I'm going to think about. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about what I'd really. There's quite a few. I really would love that Corrosion. I really would love Deliverance by Corrosion Conformity because it's such a killer album. There's not a weak track on it. It's an amazing album. It's a childhood album that I loved a lot. Just think about the stuff that I'd like Divine Intervention by Slayer as well. There was one on Amazon, but I know my bestie Wayne. He loves that album, and I told him about it, and I let him have it. So because I know he loves it, he loves Ditto Head and all that. So I let him have that one. So if another one comes up, I'd like that one.
Yeah.
I was after Orange Goblin, and they released that on Record Store Day, the last one gone.
Yeah.
I was on an orange vinyl. That was, but I was there first. I was there in the queue. Does anyone know Orange Goblin? Does anyone know Orange Goblin? Oh, it was Orange Goblin rock sorted. You know what I mean? So I got my hands on that, and I got my hands on the Therapy as well. A reissue of Nurse.
Okay.
And Red, that was nice. But me and Bruce have got to think about Red records that we mate. They're like, at first you're like, oh man, buzzing man, a red vinyl. I love the idea of this, and now everything's bloody red.
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to end it here because I'm absolutely struggling to maintain these.
That's what I mean, and I'll have a think.
But we'll see you in a bit.
Cheers.
Okay, we're back after my pee, and where did we get to? Oh, I was talking about like Holy Grail.
Holy Grails, yeah. And I was saying I was struggling to think of what I want that I haven't got. Most stuff I've like. It's always after something.
Yeah. Well, there's one I've got, and I brought it literally months before my dad passed away, and he's a fan of Doctor Hook. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, no, Doctor Hook. Yeah,
and they did an album called Bankrupt, which is like,
I don't know them that well.
It's like a comedy, not a comedy. It's a funny album. Like it is brilliant. And on the last day my dad was alive, we was playing the album, and literally it's got the like posters inside. It had everything. So it was like a complete immaculate collection, and I got it from because I live in Tamworth, and there was like I don't want to call it a tat shop, but it was like a woman that sold and like brought anything, and she always had this little box at the back that smelt of mould, which had records in, and she had Faith No More, fucking Kate Bush and everyone, but right at the back was Doctor Hook, and I was like, didn't even look at the price, like, I'll have it, and she was like, it's £8. I was like, here's 10. I got my change because I won't walk in without that. And honestly, it was the best buy ever.
It's always Christmas unlucky.
But it was like, I think just for the sentimental value of that one, that's like one of my holy grails. Like not Voodoo Child, Electric Ladyland's my favourite Hendrix album. So when I think it's when I turned 21, my first workplace brought me that. And like I said, you can get the one where it's got Jimi Hendrix's face, but it's like orange and red. But then you can get the nudie one, not with the 60-year-old women. But it was honestly brilliant. But we'll move on to the next thing, which is format. So what I mean by that is we've already spoke about tape and CD and digital. I've already gave you the whole scenario when my dad proved to me that vinyl's the best. But what makes you like vinyl? Like, what is it about the whole kind of format of it that makes you think this is the best?
I always like the physical format of it, and then we touched on it before about, like colours. I've got blue ones, I've got a splatter. I had an orange and black splatter. The new Carcass album. Not orange. It's like a yellowy green.
Yeah.
With like a black splatter, like something's just sort of hitting. Just like it's probably a bit like it's been on a spinning wheel and someone's like slap something down. Yeah. It's just spread out. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a lovely format. The Carcass one, the new one. There's only 1,000 made.
Oh wow!
So it's got a lovely big booklet, and you sort of
that's something I do like about, because Volbeat do this a lot when they release their albums. It's not in plastic; it's in cardboard, so it's like a vinyl. Don't know why I said a vinyl. It's like vinyl, and so it's almost like the sleeves are there. And it when I brought my second LP, which was Chinatown by Thin Lizzy, it was the fact that you can see the artwork on it, like. It's intricate, and you wouldn't normally see the details on a smaller 6-inch CD case, squared case. And it was when my nan passed away, I was raiding her record collection, and I found Wizard of Oz. So I was like, I'll have it. Then I found the best one ever for artwork. It's only a 45, so it's only a tiny one. Fucking Mr. Blobby.
Yeah.
Now that shit is terrifying. Yeah, honestly, it's like it's just there, and you're like, can't imagine that on a 12, you know what I mean? It's just, honestly, but it's like I like the physicality of like
Yeah,
you're
it's nice
holding
to hold.
that song.
The only thing, like you say, is like is the sound. The sound's superb. I love it. Like we had recently, didn't we? We had the reissue of Ozzy.
Yeah, man.
Say again.
Yeah, Ozzy's accent.
Sorry, that was an impression of Ozzy. If you didn't realise.
Yeah, I can't do an American Brummie. It's really hard.
No.
Go on, Bruce, can you do it?
Sharon.
Let me see your fucking hands.
Sound like Prince.
Yeah. Like a small little elf.
But yeah, going back to the format.
Yeah, but we had the we recently had the Aussie remastered, didn't we? What's it called? No More Tears, and I love that. That's one of the first records I got into when I was a kid. Like,
Yeah.
And I used to have this mate called Drewy, and him and his brother loved rock and metal. And they used to they'd buy. I said Bruce before, like years ago, we used to buy a record. We chip in together to buy a record.
Yeah.
To buy not a record as such. Well, my mate John, his brother Stuart was massive into vinyl, and he had like the record player with the cassette underneath. So he'd buy something. Sorry, Stu. We go around there with our cassettes, bang our cassettes in.
Thief.
Yeah, record all the. He used to have Slayer and Metallica.
Can't
and
beat the old stack.
This is all like Kill 'Em All, like Kill 'Em All, and and Rain in Blood and Pantera, Organ Display of Power, Rage Against the Machine. And we go around there and we record them off him, and there's times we chip in and buy an album, and then we do recordings of it. And then we take it into my birthday. My mate John got me into Soundgarden, and I went to Magpie, which I talked about earlier, with my birthday money, to buy a cassette. So I used to love cassette format, like back in the day. And what I'm going to buy, I don't know what to buy. All like a kid in a sweet shop. And he's like, "Oh, you ever heard of Soundgarden?" And I'm like, "No." Sounds a bit shit, to be honest. He went, "Nah, man, they're brilliant. The guy's got a voice like an angel, Chris Cornell, God bless his soul."
Love Chris Cornell.
Me and my mate went to see him, and me and my mate Lee went. He wasn't Soundgarden; it was Chris Cornell on his own.
I saw him. I saw Soundgarden.
Yeah, I've seen Soundgarden, but this was Chris on his own, and he was doing his solo stuff. He did some Soundgarden stuff. He did Billie Jean.
Oh wow! I saw him when his version of "Nothing Compares to You" is that's quite scarily emotional.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff was like.
He had that voice though, didn't he?
We nicknamed him the Orb because we're there with these are our camera phones, but this was like a few years ago, so they weren't as good as they are now. But not one of us between us could get a picture of him on stage. Every time we took a picture, it was like this white light, like blocking his face off. So we just kept calling him like the Orb. But he was like, he was
Chris Orb now.
Orb Garden. Nice one, I like it. He'd be happy with that if he was there. And he said, "Oh, you heard of this band called Soundgarden?" And I'm like, "No." And he went, "Honestly, mate, you'll love it." But at the time, I was really into death metal and thrash metal and all this, little, young, angry, long-haired kid. I know I'm just old, bald, and angry, but I listened to me death metal and all that kind of stuff. Me Cannibal Corpse and all that kind of thing. Yes. And I'm like, "Am I going to like it?" And he's like, "I'll tell you what I'll do." I think from memory, it's about $7.99, And he's like, "You buy it, we'll take it home, we'll listen to it. If you don't like it, I'll give you $7.99 and I'll have it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I thought this is a no-brainer. If you don't like it, I can always go back and buy Cannibal Corpse." So I bought it, took it home, and that was it. That was it.
Well, here's one then, because we sometimes talk about this, like, what era of Chris Cornell do you think's the best? Do you
Soundgarden or solo?
Like, voice-wise, like, do you think his earlier days is the best, or do you think his later days are the best?
What's early days?
So, like, but basically, when he had quite a clean but a very vocal range, but when he got older, he had quite a husky, damaged voice. If I really like his voice, like what was that last album he did? With Nearly Forgot My Broken Heart on it.
Oh yeah, I know. I can't think what it's called, but I know the one you mean.
Something North, Whispers of the North.
Yeah, North Star or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, something
but
like
his voice in that, like that for me, that's his best voice, I find, because it's got such a husk to it, and he doesn't even try. But then if you listen to his older stuff, like
what about Temple of the Dog? How good's Temple of the Dog?
Dude,
yeah. You say Temple of the Dog.
He could fit any range, like any genre, really.
Him and Eddie Vedder work perfect together.
Have you heard it when I think is it Chris Cornell and Chester when they're doing Highway to Hell or something like that, when they're duetting?
No, I don't think I've
that
heard that.
shit is amazing. I don't know if it's Highway to Hell. I know Chester did Highway to Hell, but there's a video of them both singing. I think it's Crawling, actually. They're both singing Crawling.
I don't think I've heard that.
Wow, like their voices are perfect. And, normally, like, two singers, one will do, like, the octave of the other or something. But, like, the way they balance it absolutely blew my mind.
Is it, I like all of his stuff, but in terms of Soundgarden, I'm talking about just Soundgarden.
Yeah.
I like Bad Motorfinger, Louder Than Love, and the early stuff.
Yeah.
Possibly Super Unknown.
Yeah.
First half of that album is absolutely immense. Second half gets a bit boring, I think.
Yeah.
There's still a couple of good tracks come out of it, but I think the second half of it tails off. I think, me personally, I think a good album length is 45 to 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Leave someone wanting more.
Yeah.
I've got, I like hardcore, and some of the hardcore albums I've got, probably about 25 minutes long. And I think sometimes with them, you want a bit more. You're like, I wish that was just a little bit longer.
Someone did was it the Misfits? They did a gig recently, and they had about 30 songs on there, and someone added it up as like 20-minute set.
20-minute set.
And you're like, all right, wow. And then you got someone like, Dream Theater. They have 2 songs, and it's an hour and a half, and you're like, fuck.
Say about Doom, don't they? I mean, I like Doom.
I'd say I'm a massive, like, when I grew up, like I said before we hit record, that it was reggae, it was glam rock, then I got into blues, then I gradually found heavier music, then I went to like Jimi Hendrix, Thin Lizzy, The Who, then I went to college and I found Black Sabbath, and my mind was changed.
Yeah.
I was changed from that because I didn't realise how much that sound, not necessarily what they're singing about, but the sound, the vibe they had, it completely threw me. But what I was going to get at, because we was just kind of talking about old and new, is this is something I've always wondered, because obviously as time's got on, we've improved on how we build things and make things, but generally vinyl still made the same way.
Pretty much, yeah.
Would you say there's a difference between old vinyl and new vinyl? So, for instance, obviously they're thinner in the old days, but would you say if I went out and brought, say, I don't know, The Who's Tommy album from, 1969 or 70 or whatever it was, then I brought
a remastered version.
A remastered version.
Yeah, I think you prefer the 69 version. I like the crackles, and I like the the little imperfections. The only thing I don't like is jumps.
Yeah.
Jumps make me quite angry.
Yeah. Okay. Note to self.
No, I bought Anthrax. I love Anthrax, and they're one of the first metal bands I ever got into was Anthrax. First metal gig I ever saw was Anthrax and Clawfinger at the Civic Hall. That was like November '93. And that was amazing, and I've loved Anthrax ever since then. And I got a copy of Among the Living off eBay, they're hard to come by, and I got a copy of Among the Living, and it's superb. And what I will say is, I talked about record players earlier, and I bought an Audio Technica record player, and I had a few problems with it. And it started to, I hadn't had it a year, and I look after my things, but essentially what was happening, it was getting to the end of the record, and obviously it lifts up and goes back to the beginning.
Yeah.
And the record stops. What was happening was, it was lifting up, going back to the beginning of the record and playing again. It started doing that. And I rang Audio Technica and said, look, I don't know what's going on with this. And they talked me through it and said, oh, do this, do that. Like, turn it to the left, turn it to the right, do this, do that. Turn it off at the plug. And
by that point, you're now a safe cracker.
Exactly. Yeah. Or, go be an employee for them. And it was like, and I just couldn't get it. I said, I just can't get it. I've tried everything. And so I took it back and bought a Sony, but I've got a Sony now. It's a smashing bit of kit. But what I will say is, some of the records I bought when I had the Audio Technica player compared to now I've got the Sony player, some of them, they never jumped on the audio, but they jump on the Sony.
So would you say that's a sign of...
I don't know if the Sony's just like a better quality player. So it picks up the imperfections a bit more.
I was going to say, Sony is such a deceiving brand, because obviously they've got the PlayStation, but I'm going to completely go off music for a minute, but just talking about quality. Pardon me. I'm a photographer, and I used to use Nikon.
Nikon, yeah.
They're a great name. They are fantastic. And it got to the point where I'm starting to do more video. I mean, I know I'm not using my camera I'm about to say now, but I brought myself the Sony A7 III, which is... wow. you know, for what it can do, and it's literally, it can fit in my hand, and it shits all over my Nikon. And I didn't really like, my mate Robert, he's one of the best videographers I've ever seen. And it's a pleasure to work with him. And it's like, he kept saying, like, you need to get this camera, you need to get this camera. Everyone was saying, you need to get this camera. I'm like, nah, but I like this one. And then when I jumped to it, I was just like, wow. And it was literally out of the ball. And I find that with Sony, like, they don't really rep themselves in areas. And when you buy a product like a record player, you think, why the hell did I not do this before?
Yeah.
And it is really funny because you don't associate Sony with stuff like that. You associate them with phones or cameras or consoles, TVs.
Yeah.
Like, they have their
TVs,
audio
aren't they?
systems.
Sony Bravias and
Yeah.
you know, like the tellies and whatever. Like they are a good mate. You get what you pay for.
I mean, there was a teacher when I was in college. Me and this one teacher got on really well because of music, because we had what do you call it? We both liked Ella Fitzgerald, and the old scat singer. She's like one of the godmothers of like scat singing, and
Not Scatman John, no.
oh god no, though that would be interesting. But it was one of them ones where he was talking about his record player, and the needle on it cost him $4,000, and he was like, it's like a diamond Superman kryptonite fucking Chuck
For
Norris
us married
needle.
men, it's a bit similar to having a divorce.
But then there's me, and I buy this. The only record player I ever bought was this, like, it was a wooden one, and it looked older than what it actually was. And it had a tape cassette part in the side, CD at the front, an FM radio, and it had the vinyl on top.
Yeah, we used to, a hi-fi. Used to buy,
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, like you say, you'd have the CD player, the record player, the
I mean,
radio,
this one
the
was
cassette.
just like one unit with like a shelf, like a stand. And I was just like, man, I want a $4,000 needle. But then he was like, yeah, my record player cost me like $10,000. I'm like, what the fuck do? You can't get that from a teacher's salary.
Yeah.
But
secret drug dealer.
it was one of them ones where I was just like, again, it's. I've always been, you know, it's not the tool, it's how you use it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Generally, how I refer to my penis, and it's what I find is, again, going from my Nikon camera, which cost me what, I think it was like £1,300. Then I went to Sony, and that was 1,008, and for me, that price warranted the product. And I guess you could say that with record players. Like, I've got my fucking briefcase record player. Granted, it's in a bit of a state now because I tried to put different speakers in it and blew them up. So I've put the original ones back in. But it's, for the most part, it does its job. It's a bit shit, so every now and then you've got to warm up the band so it looks like you're fondling it. But it plays all three. You know, it loves to be fingered.
It tells you now not to do it. You get instructions like, whatever you do, don't move the record, isn't it? Like, don't you know?
But the thing is,
we scored it scratchy, like.
But I've got the needle.
And Frank's a public enemy, like. You know, and all that. Oh, that's a no now. Don't try and turn it the other way when it's playing. You'll break it. Oh my
but
god!
I've got them. You get the 3-speed 78, 33, 45, and I've got all of them vinyls. And I think it's, for me, it does the job. At some point, I would like to get a much more better one, a better quality one, because that one's portable. It's made to be transported, even to the extent where I now got like a little power pack I've plugged into the back of it, so I don't need to have a mains lead, which is pretty awesome until you forget to charge it, and then you push it too far in and it falls into the case and you have to take the record player back out. It's annoying, but so yeah, that's my rant over about gear. But go into that, because we was talking about obviously how vinyl is different to now. Do you think it's just down to the fact that sound-wise it's because it's been remastered and a lot of stuff's been taken out?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, possible. Yeah, it's possible.
I spoke about the Highway
it's
to
like,
Hell one.
It's like a little bit of dust can make it jump.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I had to buy I bought it off Amazon.
We definitely wasn't naysaying them earlier.
It looks a bit like an old board rubber with like velvet on it, and you just sort of go round the record. It just takes all the dust and crap off it.
That just reminded me, like, because I'm going to get to something else in a minute about like how to look after vinyl or whatnot. But I think I sent it you. It's basically a record player, but it looks like a little car, and you just pull it on your vinyl. Providing your vinyl's on a flat surface, you pull it on your vinyl, and it just drives around it.
Oh, okay.
And it plays music. I thought that was fucking genius. And then I was like, but is that more of a gimmick than, say, a product that you need?
Yeah.
Because you can't exactly go into a park, pull it on the grass, and then it starts driving around because it's just going to bobble around. But I was going to say, it's such a weird one because with a CD, you just plug it in.
Yeah.
You don't see that CD again, where a vinyl, like, You watch it spin. It's more than sound, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
no, it is. You know,
it's phenomenal.
And it can be. You know, I love vinyl, but it can be a faff.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you sort of getting it out, you get it out, you take it out the cellophane, and you got the pube, and then you take it off.
It's when you inhale.
Yeah, you take it off, you take it out the wrapper, and you hold it like it's a small child, like, you know, they're going to look after my son as well.
By the head.
You know, my child, you know, and they're like, chuck him down, but my record, like I'm holding it, like, trying to hold it by the edge, not
you got the white gloves on.
Yeah, don't want to touch it because I don't want to mark it and whatever, and you know, you put it on there and you play it, and you're like, and you're sitting there, you're like, you know, you got your legs crossed and you're having a cup of coffee, you're like, this is amazing, like, you know, and one of your kids comes in, and flings open the door and like whacks it in you. Stop it! Yeah. You know, or they'll go, or my eldest will go, oh yeah, and it will jump and like, stop it! You know what I mean? So there's that, like, you know,
my sister and her fella, like, they've got their record players built into, like, they've got this, like, for instance, where we are now. I mean, the camera can't really see, but if it was to put like a perspective on it using what we've got from that speaker behind you to here, that's probably about half of their wall. So for us, what we can see is like the length of this wall, and they've got this massive unit, and they've got a speaker on each side, and their record player's built in, but you'd never see because it's like underneath like it looks like a shelf, and you lift it up. But there, yeah. Their record player's like it's top dollar sort of thing, and how I was on about, I have to warm up that rubber band because it's fucking, when it's cold, it just doesn't work. They've got tuners on there because I don't think it's belt driven. I think it's chain driven.
Yeah, my father-in-law's got one with like all the levels. It can move all the levels up and down.
Yeah. Like, honestly,
yeah.
My brother-in-law was playing a Johnny Cash album a couple of years ago, and I was like, that sounds really fucking slow. Like, his voice was lower than normal. I was like,
Barry White.
Yeah, honestly, I was just like, let me.
Well, I'm stuck in awesome.
Well, he was playing the St.
like
Quentin
Volbeat.
album. Yeah. So I had to adjust that, and I was like, with CD, just plug it in. You know, what I mean? That was it. But I suppose it takes that. It's the experience, it's that getting it right.
Yeah, it's a whole experience.
It's such a personal thing.
Like you say, like, you know, you get the old little crackles. You're like, oh, I like that.
When I had that,
but then I go jump, jump. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
I managed to get hold of a Clash, and it's like combat rock.
Yeah,
and you know, my father-in-law's got all the proper clearing equipment, so I gave him Anthrax. I gave him Twisted Sister. You know. The Clash. So these ones are jumping. Can you just try and clean them for me? And it did make a big difference.
Yeah.
The Anthrax, it made a massive difference. The only song that it jumps on now is Indians, which is my favourite bloody track. So that annoys me. But it only jumps like once during that record. But I've cleaned it myself and, you know, moved away from it, make sure I'm not rocking the floor or whatever. Like, and it does jump, and that's the only thing I don't like about vinyl. I think I told you before, a couple of years ago when I bought it, I asked for some money for Christmas so I could buy myself some records, and I bought an album by Clutch.
Love Clutch.
Yeah,
I've only recently just got into them, but I love it.
Yeah, Psychic Warfare. I bought it and we've been to Mother-in-law's for Christmas, and I got work back in the day when we used to go in the office, and my wife hadn't, and I said, look, you know, she said, can I stop at, you're going to be at work, can I stop here? And I'm like, my mum's like, you know, with the kids, there's no point in us going home because you're going to be at work. Well, I said, yeah, you stop there. So I went back home, and I was in the house on my own, and I got this cheese board, and I got my glass of wine, and I thought,
proper sophisticated.
Right, let's get my Clutch record out. Like, so I've gone and got my Clutch record, I've got it, and I'm like, oh, look, it's only like a black record. It wasn't like coloured or, you know, anything. And it's just a normal black record. I said, right, let's get it on. And I dropped it. And I've got wooden floors, and it just went. It just like slid across the floor. I'm like,
that's worse than it's smashing.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god. So I've just sort of gone over there, like trying to wipe the tears away. And I've picked it up, and I thought I got it from HMV. So I thought, if it's damaged, I'm just going to get back to HMV and say, when I opened it, this is what it was like. No, I wasn't really. So I picked it years ago. That's what we used to do. You know, we used to go to HMV, and we go to HMV.
Someone else going, that bastard.
And we'd buy an album, and sometimes, like back in them days, you didn't have Spotify or the luxuries we have now.
We had LimeWire.
So you used to have to read Kerrang and see what their review of it was like, and going by it, and then you take it out and you go, what a load of shit.
Yeah.
So so then you think I'm going to take that back and get Machine Head. So you put it back in and you'd like get it out and you'd hold it against the light. You'd be like, written finger marks on that bugger. So put it back in the case and put it away and you take it back to HMV and you'd be like, yeah, I had this for Christmas. I had this for Christmas and would you believe it? Someone else had brought it me. So I've got the receipt for this one. So I'd like to change it for Machine Head. When he's kind of getting it out and he's going. You played this. And I go, no. He's going. I mean, show me where's the mark on that. You show me where there's a mark on that. And he's going, no, there isn't a mark. I'm just asking. Like, you know what I mean? I thought, I ain't touched the CD.
He's got the UV light.
Yeah, and he's looking at the booklet for finger marks, like and I'm thinking, I've already walked them off. And and he's like,
professional.
And he's like, yeah, I'll give you money back. You can get Machine Head. I'm not buzzing, so I got Machine Head. Anyway, so I picked this Clutch album up. It's got these little like circles, like kind of like it must like rubbed across the floor. And I thought, oh my God. But I put it on. Do you know what? It plays perfect. Huh. It has not affected the sound whatsoever. And, I think that's potentially what we discussed earlier, potentially down to how they're made now. They're made a little bit better, like the old ones. Sometimes you are scared to touch them because you think, oh, if I scratch it, it's ruined. A bit like that Corrosion of Conformity one, which cost me like 40 quid, And, it's like, oh, I don't dare want to scratch this because I can't replace it. It's not replaceable.
It's like me with my glow-in-the-dark Volbeat one. Like, when I was playing it, I've got an awesome torch, right? I brought it from Aldi. It cost me 9 quid, but it's like a spotlight. It's like got the power of like 1 million candles. But it's powered by 3 AAA batteries. But like if you can do it so it's like a spotlight. So I was sitting there as a sad human, watching it spin around in the dark and it weren't glowing. I was like, I'm gonna make a circle on this. And I just kept holding it in one place, so it kept spinning around. Sure enough, after about 10 minutes, I turned it off, and there was just a circle in the middle. I was like, "This is fucking genius." Then I thought, "Shit, what if I wear out the glow in the dark in it?" So I just like haven't played it since. I'm too scared. In case
just play. You get some people. You get some people. I know disrespect to them, but they like collect figures or whatever, and they go, "Oh yeah, it stops in the box." And you're like, "What's the point in that, man? Get it out and play with it." You don't want it in the box.
That's why you take your pants off. Play
it's like, oh, you're going to play a record. Damn right I am. You're not going to buy it. So fuck off.
It's like with my...
you know what I mean? Too. Are you mad?
My Electric Ladyland album, it's my Grail, my holy Grail. And it's old. It's from, 1969. And it's been looked after. The covers and everything, you can see it's general wear on, like, the spine of it. But, like...
so that's all right.
Exactly. But, like, the vinyl itself, it's still in good nick. So I'm like... I don't, with my vinyl player, the needles aren't the best, and that's what I'm more afraid of. Not necessarily dropping it or anything.
I think so if the needle's not that great, I think it's going to play better. It's not going to pick up the imperfections as much as probably a more expensive one. I mean, my Twisted Sister got Stay Hungry original release. And the box it comes in is rubbish. It cost me a £5 from the record fair. It was like the first pressing. So it Stay Hungry in the original, cover. It's got all the lyrics on the cover and all the pictures and all that. It's all like faded because it's old. It's like it's like 70. I think it's 70s. I think, but 70s, 80s, whatever. And the albums, even the kids like it. Like, I wanna rock, and it's got and all that,
I just randomly thinking because I was like, what other holy grails do I want? I know which one I want, and if you could get this. Honestly, I don't know what I'd do.
Come on. Drum roll.
If that was just audio, that would sound like he was fapping. Bruce knows I'm a lover of blues, even though I'll forever say blues isn't a genre, right? Now, Robert Johnson is the godfather of Delta blues. And he recorded, literally recorded 30 songs, straight off. And he's a proper mystical character in blues. I don't know if you know him. This has gone back in the 20s or 30s or something, and he recorded his music, and you can find it on Spotify and everything. But I want the vinyl, and because of the era it came from, it's going to have all the imperfections because it's just him, guitar, that's it. And which I was going to say, if you could find that would be genius. But I've got some of my nan's old records of Gracie Fields, so it is from the 40s, and you play it, and it looks like fucking Wolverines had a go at it. You know what I mean? It's scratched beyond belief, but it still plays.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is mint. Every now and then, it's like, for instance, he's got Wish Me Luck As You Wave Me Goodbye, and then he was like, and you're like, oh, okay. So it gave a bit
Some
of
of the new records do that, when you get that, you get that little
that
I don't know
shit
what it's
thing in the
called.
middle.
When you get to the end of the final track of the half or the side, whatever, you get that little bit of a gap. And
it looks like there's another track.
and it does that, and then you're like, "Oh God!" And you're like, "Oh, sorry, it's just that bit at the end, like you know."
Well, what we'll do to end the format round, I don't know why I've called it a round, but the format section, do you have any recommendations or tips on playing vinyl to its max? Like, if you could give anyone recommendations, obviously you sell records and whatnot, but if you could give someone, a noob, so to speak, someone brand new to vinyl playing, what would you give them as like some good advice, so to speak?
Oh, good advice.
Down to like gear to get, how to store them.
Oh,
Not to wash them in a fucking sink with
no,
fairy wash.
you can actually do that. You can actually.
Not the way
I wouldn't do it, but
not with boiling
I have,
hot water.
I have seen. No, not boiling hot water, but you can get sort of like like lukewarm water.
Yeah,
and a bit of, like,
you can do it. But
like a sponge. But
someone I
wouldn't
knew,
be-
their dad did it, and it was like, yeah, I used to do it as a kid. I was like, yeah, but not in boiling fucking hot water.
No,
And sure
it's
enough,
gonna
his
warp it, isn't
his records look like bookshelf holder things,
Yeah.
like owl-shaped vinyl.
Yeah,
It's weird.
you know, just try and get somewhere nice to store it, like, you know, a nice cupboard. You know, obviously store it standing up. Don't store it flat. It's gonna if you like it flat, it's gonna warp.
Yeah, it looked like a sad macaroon.
Yeah, just try and keep it upright. Try and keep it clean. Like I was saying earlier, this is what does my end about vinyl. It's keeping it clean. It's like, you know, like I say, you open the cellophane and you take it out the you know, the paper thing, whatever you want to call it, the paper sleeve. Put it on your record plate. You know, you take your slip mat off and you give it a good wipe because there's no dust on it. Put it back on. You know, you put the record on and you're like, oh, and then you close the cover. You know, obviously make sure you've dusted all your things first and all your bits.
That's the one thing I hate about my record player, because it's a gimmick essentially, so it can be.
It's always open.
Yeah, so if you close it, you either snap your record or break it.
Yeah, so you've got your plastic cover. So you bring your plastic cover down and you play it, and then you sit there with your cup of coffee or your cigar or whatever. Cheese board. Glass of red wine, listening to it, going all
silk pajamas.
Listen to Chris Barnes on that Cannibal Corpse track. You know, and you think, I really enjoyed that. I didn't understand the word, but it was fantastic. And then you played it, and you think, you know what, I'm going to play that again tomorrow. I really enjoyed it. And then you take it out, you put it carefully back in the paper sleeve, put it back in the box, and then you get your plastic cover. It came in, and you cover it up like you know, like you would put around your baby, like a bit of swaddling and whatever. Yeah. Put it back in the cupboard, and you think, right, tomorrow, I'll have a beer when we listen to it tomorrow. Like, you know, maybe have the football on as well. I'm on mute, obviously. I don't want to ruin the sound.
30 minutes of prep and post was well worth the 3-minute song.
That's what I mean. And then you get it out. You take it out of the plastic cover. You get your cardboard, take it out. You know, there it is. Take it, side A, side B. Yes, that's the right side. Take it out with a paper sleeve, and it's covered in dust. Yeah. And you're like, it's been in a cupboard with the door shut. How is it covered in dust? It's like some kind of dust magnet record. Honestly. It's like you said, it's like records going. Come on, it just sucks it all in. You're like, oh, I'm there, like trying to clean it with your finger. And then you got it all in like a little line, like like a line or something, and then you're just trying to get it. You're just trying to get it off your record. You're thinking, oh, what a bloody faff this is. Where's my MP3? Yeah. But now, you know, it's like
just store it safely.
Store it safely.
Would you say it's just more about
after it? Don't drop it. Don't play records if you're really drunk. Because I've dropped a few records really drunk.
So would you say like it's literally the experience of just listening to what the artist made?
I think
like
that I think that's how the artist wanted you to listen to it. I've got to be honest. I think that's you know we're lover of music in this room. You know, so the untrained here, people think, you know, some people think metal's rubbish or rock's rubbish, or, you know, it's not. It's brilliant. You're wrong. What? So, you know, we love gigs. We love going to gigs, don't we, Bruce? You know, we love going to see bands. You know, and I think that's the best environment to see music, is to be there, watching that band play. Yeah. You know, and when you've got a record there, I believe that's how the band want you to listen to it.
But I said that earlier, didn't I? Like, it's almost like the classic Thin Lizzy album, Live and Dangerous, which isn't very live. But that's one of the few albums where you can literally sit there, close your eyes. Any live album, really, you can close your eyes. It's like you're there. And I think that's what's nice about vinyl, especially older vinyl, because you hear all the imperfections, which is, I mean, we've spoke about it before, like how you can see a band and they're too perfect. You want to hear the mess-ups. You want to hear like the shitty bits, because it makes it live. It makes it enjoyable. But that's a cool answer. We're going to go into something different now.
Okay. You want to shut me up now, yeah?
No. This is going to be a lot.
Before they close.
So,
it's like bottom line, isn't it? You guys will be fucking closed in a minute.
it's when someone walks in, it's like,
So you know my really cool watch gag. Yes, I forgot my watch.
but yeah, I'm going to move on to the scene.
Yeah, move on.
So, hang on. I'm going to use the button.
Use the button.
The scene! We didn't really get that, but they're going to hear it.
Yes,
Fucking
you're going to
echo
love
that
it.
shit.
You're going to love it. If you haven't already gone to sleep or
turned it
switched,
off?
if you haven't either A, gone to sleep or B, switched off by
Put it
now,
on yours?
thinking Christ Almighty, he goes round the house, it's just to tell you one thing.
Yeah, pretty much. It's what we do. What the fuck? So I've not read this. I've read everything but the scene, and I've surprised myself. So there's a zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
Hang on.
Bit like Small Leaf, yeah.
I'm going to try and think of a voice to do this in.
Alan Partridge.
Oh god, that's hard. I can't get his tone.
Zombies. Get off me, you bloody bastard.
I'm going to go with Mad Max.
What voice is that?
Australian.
Okay. Mel Gibson. You have to be a lot shorter.
Well, I'm looking at the camera now. I'm really tall, and I'm slouching. I should have had that chair.
No way, man. This is awesome.
Mine's not. I mean, mine's comfy.
Camping chair.
I brought this, and I don't remember buying it. I was very drunk.
Best way.
Right, there's a zombie apocalypse. They need the gasoline. Anyway, there's a zombie apocalypse. You get it. There's a zombie apocalypse, and you manage to find shelter to stay safe. To stay in and be safe. However...
Is the vinyl?
Wait, we're getting there. Okay. However,
Okay.
before you enter, you were only able to pick up a few supplies from a shop. Though I have put the shop.
The shop.
What do you choose? Number 1, your favourite album, but it's covered by a yodeling metal band. Your least favourite food. Your most favourite drink, but you only have 50 millilitres of it. Your most favourite person, music, film, anything, past and present, but they are turning into a zombie. What would you do? Who would you have from them? So first of all, your most favourite album, what would it be?
Depends on the day you ask me. I would say today, my favourite album at the moment, I can't play enough of, is the new Wild Arts album.
Okay, so that's covered by a yodeling metal band.
Forget it.
What's your least favourite food?
Olives.
Oh, horrendous.
Oh, horrific. It's absolutely.
What's your most favourite drink?
Well,
It can be alcoholic, it can be...
you'd only take alcohol. There wouldn't be anything else.
But you can only take 50 mils to make it count.
50 mils, I'll do anything, is it really?
That's like a little sample from Boots when you get sprayed.
I'd probably have to go for like a nice vodka, I think.
Oh, nice.
If I've only got 50 mil, I'll just have some Grey Goose or something like that. A nice 50 mil of Grey Goose, just neck that.
Well, with all that, for the doors opening then.
Zombie
Who
apocalypse
would
coming
you
in.
have in the shelter with you?
I can only pick one person.
Only one person, past, present. There can be, obviously, you can... For this scenario, if they're dead, they're now alive. But they will be turning into a zombie. Okay. So who would you take?
I feel like a lot of people can be watching this and getting upset with my answer. Obviously, I should be saying my wife. However, she's bad enough without being a zombie. No, I love you. Honestly, you're not. So I'll probably have to go for my Wayne. He's like maybe my bestie for it. I'd take him, and it'd be a bit like what do you call it? That film with Tom and Peg, the zombie film. Shaun of the Dead. So yes, it'd be a bit like Shaun of the Dead, and I'd have to like put him on a lead so I could go and chat to him. So every time he tried to like have a bit of me,
okay,
in terms of biting me,
I was going to say, whoa.
I
got way out
I
of
could just
hand.
stand back and go, whoa. Let's talk about hardcore because he loves his hardcore. So
Okay, well. So you've got all these things. You got who did you say? Wayne.
Wayne, I take Wayne.
So you got Wayne, right? So he's been bit. He's turning into a zombie. He's not. He's still there, but he's gradually falling.
Well, he's a bit like that anyway.
However, someone knocks on this door, like the shelter you're in. Someone's knocking on the door, like, mate, we can do this. And you're like, what? And he's like, I can give you your most prized possession, your most prized album. What would you give them in return out of what you've got?
So what have I got?
You've got a yodeling metal band cover of your favourite album.
Yeah, they can have that.
However, they don't take the album. What would they give you then? Like, what would you give them? Because they don't want another album. They want to give you yours.
Yeah, nah. You can have. They can have Wayne then. I'll keep the vodka, man.
Okay, so they've now taken Wayne.
Yeah.
But along with the album, they've left a note saying we do have the cure for Wayne.
What's the catch?
Well, you gave him away, so you don't have the cure.
Well, I haven't got anything, have I? Really? I've just got me 50 mils of Grey Goose, and that's it. Like, so I have to neck that and just run for it.
Well, I was going to say, however, they have left a door open, but they're nowhere to be seen now. So you've got your yodeling metal band, and now you've got your favourite album. You still got your olives. You don't have Wayne anymore. God bless Wayne. Where do you go? Bear in mind, there's a massive zombie apocalypse. There's zombies everywhere. Or you've got to defend yourself because you don't have your zombie friend anymore. All you got to defend yourself is olives, 2 albums, and but that's it because you drank your vodka.
Yeah, I drank my vodka.
So what would you do next?
If anything's obviously going to bite me, then obviously I've got the vodka in my system. You know,
choke the bastards with the olives. Hi-ya!
Yeah, flick an olive in their eye, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, that's disgusting." You know, or no, open your mouth, flick the olive in. Oh my god, you know, like when you got a dog and they want to play fetch, and then you got these like certain balls that are a bit too rubbery. So when they catch them, they go drop it like immediately because it's like disgusting to their tongue. So like, hey you, flick the olive in. Oh, what's that? Distract them. Smack them on the side of the head with my yodeling metal album.
Nice. So you got 2 shards.
Yeah, a bit like So that'd break that. Then I got a couple of shards for the next one. And then probably just go to Winchester so it all blows over.
Nice. Well, the last part of the scene is you travel to your destination. You finally make it to the Winchester, and on the table there's a box. You open the box, and it's very Bill and Ted, this part. It's got the song that can save the world. We're not feeding the world because we don't want to give that Irish prick any money. So I'm joking. Feed the world's a good thing. What song? So not necessarily your favourite song, but what song do you think would
give everyone a G up?
Yeah, to stop everyone turning into cannibals.
I think a bit of Slayer, man. I think a bit of Rain in Blood would do everyone a bit of good.
Very, like it's kind of suited really to a zombie apocalypse, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it would work perfect, man. I think everyone would do a bit of that, like they were like, like, you know, it'd be like Jeff Henneman standing in the wrong place and miss all the blood. You ever seen that video when he stands in the wrong place, all the blood? You seen that? It's wicked, man. Raining, I've got it. I'll find it and end it. Yeah, there's like a Slayer live DVD they did, and it's like Raining Blood in full with a few songs at the end. But at the end of the set, when they do Rain in Blood, I saw it. They did it live in the NIA in Birmingham. It was brilliant. But so there's a bit of the song at the end, and they sort of get into their places when they're playing. It starts to rain blood. And there's obviously poor old Dave Lombardo. I think it was Dave Lombardo. No, Paul Bostaff at the time. I don't think Dave Lombardo was in the band. And so obviously he's sat there. He can't go anywhere. Good old drummers. They can't walk around like singers and bassists and guitarists, can they? So he sat there just getting absolutely drenched in his blood. Tom Araya's drenched in his blood. Kerry King's drenched in his blood. And Jeff Henneman stood in the wrong place. And the blood's coming down and not getting him at all. So he's like, God rest his soul. He stood over there and he's just like, what song we playing, Tom? Like, you know, sort of, because he's always pissed for any Jeff. Like, so he's like, and he's like thrashing away, like. And all the blood misses him, so everyone's covered in blood but him at the end, and he's like, what happened, sort of thing. It's classic. So yeah, I think a bit of Rain in Blood to get everyone going. Even the zombies will probably enjoy a bit of that, I think.
Well, luckily, even though you gave your friend away, he survived. Everyone survives. You have literally saved the world from the zombie apocalypse, and you still maintain your favourite album.
Exactly.
And you found the song for the Save the World, which brings me on to my quick fire round now.
Okay.
Because we've got the ball rolling. What makes a good album cover? And do you have a favourite album cover?
I think it was a single One of my favourite album covers, it was a single by a band called the Dead Kennedys, and it was Holiday in Cambodia.
Yes.
And I had it on my t-shirt, and it's just like Dead Kennedys, Holiday in Cambodia, and this kid's like carrying a chair, it's like going to smash some of it. So a bit of violence, I think.
Okay.
A bit of violence
So
or satanic.
violence makes a good cover.
Bit of violence or a bit of satanic
Just
imagery.
like Rage Against the Machine with the dude on fire.
Yeah, with a dude
Is it
on
a monk?
fire.
Is it a monk on fire?
I think it might be a monk, yeah. A bit of violence, someone on fire.
So you want something that makes a statement.
Yeah. One of my favourite videos when I was a kid was a band called Ministry, a song called New World Order. And Al Jorgensen, whatever you say, he's just walking down the road in his cowboy hat, like singing away, like, everything's on fire and people are rioting, and buildings are blown up and cars are crashing into each other. And he's just walking down the road, just like, yeah, man, I'm having a good day.
You can't be Mayhem's album cover where the drummer who blew his brains out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's literally the front cover is him with his brains on the front.
That was all what kind of going on when I was like around the same time, like mid-90s, like when they're all like burning churches, killing each other.
Mental.
It made Kerrang very interesting. Kerrang used to be good, believe it or not. Kerrang used to be really good.
Yeah, used to be. Emphasis.
Yeah, it's terrible. But it used to be really good to see all these church burnings and Hieronymus, was it Hieronymus? Went round and say, well, I'll have a chat, and I stabbed him in the head, and it's like, oh, nice fella, you know what I mean? Like, so, we'll have a good time then, like, over there in Norway, like, but yeah, it was interesting.
So, violence for a good album cover.
Violence for a good album cover.
Number two,
bit of satanic imagery.
Favourite food to eat when listening to music, and favourite drink.
You can't beat a good. I love a good ale, mate. A nice IPA. Punk IPA is a good bit. Or a nice pint of Shipyard.
Damn, I haven't had Shipyard in ages.
Yeah, nice pint of Shipyard.
We need to go Flapper.
Nice pint of Shipyard. I don't really drink much lager. I'm not against lager.
So what food then?
I love pizza, mate. I do love pizza. Or a good burger. Lasagna.
Yeah.
I love lasagna.
You know what? I was just thinking, I'd have a lasagna any day.
Or a nice steak. But you're at a gig. You're watching a band.
All right then. So you're at a gig. Generally, you don't really have food. But what would your pre-meal be?
Ooh, a nice pizza, I think, or a burger. Usually on the way from the pub. Quick, grab a burger before I get too smashed.
Our old drummer, me and Andy had a thing where we'd go Subway beforehand.
Yeah, so I like Subway.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like the meatball Mary. I've not been for ages, but it's like the meatball one. Bit messy though. I'm a bit of a messy eater anyway. So end up with all over my face and in my ears and up my nose. And
all right. Well, question 3: what gift, if you had to buy it, would you buy the Queen, and why?
Never mind the bollocks, buy the Sex Pistols, of course.
Like it.
God save the Queen.
All right, then number 4: shoes or trainers?
Trainers.
Why? What is it about a good trainer?
I love me Adidas. I've got loads of pairs of Adidas.
Oh, nice.
That's what I really wear is Adidas.
I had I don't know where I got from, an luminous pair of green Adidas once. I could not walk in them. They were the slippiest thing in the world. I
had a pair of black ones. Black with the luminous green stripes. They were amazing. I love
See,
those.
mine were like the complete opposite. It was a luminous green with black stripes.
That's awesome. Awesome.
It was epic in the night time. You confused tramps.
But we went to London to see Persistence tour, and I was meant to get changed into my gig trainers, and I'd had a few beers and I just forgot. And then they just got...
You had gig trainers. That makes me happy.
Yeah, they just got trampled all over it.
Yeah, that's why we have them.
when Power Trip were on, they got trampled all over. And then next day I was like, oh my God, my trainers are covered. So you look, this is a tip for everyone, like, never do this. The camera's gone off. Is that okay?
I think it's run out of power.
Oh, okay. So never do this. So me and Wayne went to see Persistence tour with our friends from Manchester, Simon, Sarah, Bella, etc.
On the inside of the camera, this is going to be great for the video. There's a button next to the screen. There's like a tiny circle button. It's an on button. Can you flick that? And like hold it. And then can you hit at the back? There's a rectangle button. It's run out of power.
Yeah, it's gone off again.
Okay. This is great. Bear with us, viewers. On the plug, can you unplug my 9-volt power adapter and put the white one in? And something was bound to happen on this. Yes. I didn't plug in the power.
Do you know what it is? It's because I've gone on that much. Is this your longest podcast ever?
Do you know how long it is without the break?
How long?
We're on an hour and 34 minutes.
Is that your longest?
Yeah.
40 minutes.
Okay, and can you just repeat the steps you just did?
So if I come on again, I'll probably have to like...
Oh, well, to be fair, it's my fault. I didn't... it's fine. I didn't plug that in because I was playing my bass earlier. Underneath there, yeah. No, so where your thumb is, stop moving your hands. Go down a bit.
Jazz hands.
There's a button literally right there. like parallel to the lead. There we go. Is that a let go? Is there a red dot on the screen? I think there's a red dot on my screen. Yay! Ah, shit. We're back. How long has that been off?
I don't know. No, I think it's only just.
Oh, okay. Well,
sure.
I'll just put a picture of like a cat or something there.
Yeah, so they got trampled all over at this gig, and so I decided to use. We stopped in the Premier Inn, so I decided to use the Premier Inn towel after I'd had a shower to wipe my trainers over, get all the dirt off
And
blood, no,
brains.
wasn't that bad of a gig, but yeah. So then I thought, well, that's not too bad. Looking a bit dapper now. No one would ever know. Walking home, walking around London and whatever. I got on the train to go home. I'm like, the train's got a bit of a funny colour. And basically, it must be some kind of like bleaching agent in the towel. So me like wiping the trainers over with the towel, as if it actually like took all the colour
Chemically reacted
chemically reacted with my
Jesus.
shoes. Took all the colour out and it bleached them white. So I wore them for a bit till they ended up in the bin, which is a real travesty. So remember to change it to your gig trainers.
Well, another question around clothing. Have you ever owned a string vest?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't got the figure for it.
I had one, but I never understood it.
No.
My vest is supposed to kind of keep me warm in a way.
I was too skinny and I'm too fat.
I don't know.
My mate used to have a sick of it all like vest, and it was like it worked out. Like he's like well built.
Yeah, I suppose you got to
I
have the
tried
frame
it on
for
it like
yeah.
Shriek from Saved by the Bell.
All right, well,
Shriek, whatever his name, Screech.
Number 6. Who would you have to back you in a fight, Lars Ulrich or Ringo Starr?
Ringo Starr.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Lars Ulrich just seems to be all mouth.
It's from Liverpool.
Yeah.
Lars is like a creepy thing.
Yeah, he's a weird fellow. Okay, so what's the most overrated song? What would you say? Not just in like metal, but generally, what is a very overrated song?
Anything by Lamb of God.
Oh, okay. I did not expect that.
No, I don't like that. I can't get on with Lamb of God.
Okay, then. This is the big question. Who would be in your supergroup? So you need a bassist, vocalist, drummer, and potentially 2 guitars. You don't need 2.
Oh, okay. Well,
so who would you have?
I'd obviously have Sid Vicious on bass. He can't really play bass, but I think he'd be cracking entertainment.
Oh, he was great.
No one really cares about basses anyway, do they?
Oh, thanks.
Joke.
Oh, see how this is going.
No.
Turn the recorder off.
Well, no. Do you know what? I think I'd have 2 basses in my band. I'd
have the Spinal Tap bassist with his double neck bass.
Yeah, I'd have Lemmy.
Oh, dude, yes.
I'd have Lemmy on bass. Maybe just get rid of Sid. Maybe Sid could just be there just for the laughs.
Yeah, he could be the roadie.
The entertainment. We'll have Lemmy on bass, 100%.
So you got Lemmy on bass. Who would you have for a vocalist?
Have to be Ginger from the Wild Arts, wouldn't it?
Okay,
my true hero in life.
Drums,
Mickey D.
Nice.
I love Mickey D. I think he's an amazing drummer. Me lad had a bit of an interest in drums, and I was showing him all these drum videos. But the Mickey D ones are the best, man. When he starts like, his drums go, his drumsticks are going in the air.
So I love watching Keith Moon's videos.
Yeah.
Well,
Keith Moon, he's just crazy.
But you can't beat John Bonham. He just had nothing but raw power. Like he could not drum soft.
No, and who wants a soft drummer? Let's just smash the shit out of those things. Let's get a proper sound out of them.
Right, then, so vocals.
Yeah, Ginger from the Wild Arts.
Oh yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah, we'll have
guitars.
Guitar. So we could be cheeky and say Ginger, we won't do that because he just play guitar. We will have on guitar. We will have. I think who I like.
Can't do that for very long. Fuck.
No, it's hard work.
Coughing.
Oh my god.
Christ in
man.
man.
You know what? I'm gonna have Kerry King. A lot of people like this Kerry King, but I love Kerry King.
So you're very into the 0-1.
If I could bring someone back, I would have obviously Dimebag.
Oh yes,
Dimebag without a shadow of a doubt. Dimebag was just an absolute.
I'm completely jumping in now, but I was getting onto this thing. I think it was with someone in Guitar on Hagley Road, and we was having this massive debate about. Well, I don't know if you know amps and shit, but you got solid state and valve.
Yep.
So basically, old school and new school. I was having this massive debate, like, valve's the way to go. You can't get any decent like metal sounds. I'm like, Dimebag Darrell. And they were like, what? I was like, Dimebag Darrell use solid state, mate. And they're like, what? It's like, yes.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's the time. It's the time he was in.
Mm.
I'd like to know more about him as a guitar player. I read Rex's book, the bassist, and it was quite interesting. Rex from Pantera. It's quite interesting, but it kind of skated over it a bit. It was kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know, he was a bit of a skinny kid, you know, a bit of a loner and whatever. And then we went on summer holidays, you know, or summer vacation, whatever they call it. And then he went in his bedroom and came out a guitar legend. And I'm like, sure, there's more to it than that. So I'd like to know more about his story, about how he became as good as he was.
I mean, he was a classic. He just did nothing but practice. Like, when you look at what he came from, because in essence, he was kind of like his technique. When you look at it, apart from pure speed, like a lot of his original stuff, it was heavily based around like the classic pentatonics, wasn't it? And then he started just kind of going Eddie Van Halen, doing his own thing, which I think is brilliant.
I mean, you know, I would look at bands who've got one guitarist, and does that band get boring? No. If that guy and you've got one guitarist, then and you can have that many songs that sound so different. Yeah, you must be quality because
it's like that band Broken Wolf.
You just be me. I've not even heard him play. So, mate, I've known him about how many years now, and I've not even probably about 3 or 4 years. And
bass,
and I've still never heard him play. You need to get gigging. That's what we need. We need to get some gigs in, and actually,
we bloody will be.
Actual gigs. But I'm gonna take Kerry King out. Sorry, Kerry, I love you, but you're out. So I'm gonna replace it with Tony Iommi.
Nice.
So I'm gonna have Ginger on vocals. I'm gonna have Mickey D on drums, Lemmy on bass, and then I'm gonna have Dimebag.
See, I'm now like thinking, what would I have? Like Iommi straight guitar, John Bonham drums, Chris Cornell vocals, bass is where I struggle because I love me some John Entwistle from The Who.
Yep.
I don't know. Then again, Lemmy.
Yeah, Lemmy was class, man. The great man.
I'll probably go Lemmy because they would bounce off each other and they're massive drinkers. Yeah. But anyway, this is not about me. Well, you got your super group. That's pretty cool. But what we'll do to end it, we'll do some plugs, really, some shout outs. So tell people about where they can find you, social media, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter.
What you're up to.
I'm on Twitter, Room for More Records, at least Room for More Rec. Facebook, Room for More Records. Instagram, Room for More Records. So I did have a website, but I got rid of that because sadly I wasn't selling enough.
Yeah.
So I've still got some good stuff. So come and check me out. If you want anything, let me know. Don't go to Amazon. Don't fund that bloke to go to the moon. He's got more money than sense.
Fund the small businesses.
Fund me, who's poor and I work in insurance. And trust me, no one who works in insurance has got any money. It's more of a hobby for me. I'm cheap. I'm not expensive. I'm a lot cheaper than HMV. I'm a lot cheaper than Amazon. So come and check me out.
And like I said earlier, from first-hand experience, like you said it yourself, you kind of start to know what people are into. Like
yeah.
I mean, we've only really spoke a couple of times up before now.
Yeah.
And you kind of know my taste anyway, which is awesome. And you'll never get that in a shop.
No.
HMV, Amazon, you'll never get that.
I'm there for the chat as well. I love chat. I love mean people. You know what I mean? So I do specialise mainly in rock and metal because that's what I know and that's what I've listened to pretty much all my life. Apart from early days when I liked Erasure. But
we don't talk about that.
Michael Jackson. But, it's what I know about. So, if you start coming try and talk to me about, other stuff, country or, to a degree blues, reggae, I'm just going to be like, you know what, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to embarrass myself. I like a bit of UB40 when I had a couple of beers. But
the thing is, you're still there, like, to help the customer out. Like,
that's it.
They'll tell
if they want something, I'll get it.
Exactly, which is what a lot of businesses now isn't customer related.
I just generally stock what I know. I kind of want it to be a bit niche.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of metalers out there who like vinyl. So that was my market really. But I never give up. I never stop trying.
And
just gotta get my name out there, Never gonna give you up.
But yeah, well, thank you for coming on the show.
No, thanks for having me. I'm sorry I've rattled on so much.
Back and forth. Honestly, don't worry. I mean, that's why I'm doing these things. I want people to, promote themselves essentially, especially with something like you're doing. But I'm
happy just to chat shit with people.
Well, you're more than welcome to come back on the show.
Yes, I'll be back next week.
I'll tell you what.
No, you need a bit of a break.
I'll tell you what. We'll do another show soon, and we'll. Like how because we was on about this, me and Bruce. We'll do like a podcast with all three of us where we'll do not necessarily reviewing an album, but like bring an album and say which one's the better song, like what makes this album stand out, so to speak. because we've all got vinyl.
Essentially what we could do is we could find an album that we all love, and then just talk about that.
Yeah, because guaranteed there'll be differences in it. But that'll be for the next episode. So until then, this is my man Phil. Bruce, give us a shout.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Thank you, Bruce. Thanks, everybody.
So yeah, I'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you, Ben. Cheers, mate.